What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is your boy, the Wired Martian, bringing you some information that you might already know on these YouTube streets. Today's topic is about Deno. What is it and why should you care? Okay, so first question, what is it? Well, as you can see from here, it's a runtime for JavaScript. Now, if you're familiar with JavaScript in general, or like this already sounds familiar, a runtime for JavaScript. And you're right, there is a runtime for JavaScript built using the V8 engine, and that is Nodejs. This one is a secure runtime, right? Mind the bold. Secure runtime for JavaScript and for TypeScript. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, so a runtime is basically like a platform where you could run code written on a type of language, right? Node provides you a platform where you could run your JavaScript on the server, okay? But this one is different, and I might be butchering this, and hopefully be to God that I'm not. This one allows you to write JavaScript to run JavaScript on the server and TypeScript on the server, which means you don't have to compile down to JavaScript to run your TypeScript on the server, which is awesome because the JavaScript community is already moving towards TypeScript. So that's what Deno does. It is a secure runtime for JavaScript and TypeScript. And secure meaning by default you don't have access to your network. So that means if you want to run your server, your Deno server locally, you have to issue some kind of command to allow it to do that, right? So it blocks a lot of things. There's a lot of things that are similar between Deno and Nodejs, and one of them is actually that Nodejs is written by the same guy that's writing Node, or like the same guys. The guy behind it is the same guy who came up with Node. You could look at this video. There's a video here about 10 things I regret about Node, and this is actually him, the guy, telling you why basically he built why he's building Deno, I should say. And one of the things that he mentions, actually, which I find to be pretty cool, is your inputs. So I think I have a sample Node application here that I've been working on. Okay, so this is a little thing that I'm building, right? So if you look at these imports, right, you're importing incoming message and server response from HTTP, right? And what he was saying is, like, how do you define what a module is? You don't exactly know. So he's saying you don't exactly know what else you're importing from HTTP. Is HTTP a file? What else does it come with it? What else are you getting from this statement that you don't know about besides this? I hope that makes sense. So his idea was, why don't you import a module as a file? So you're importing exactly a file. You know exactly what you're importing, and you know from which file. And if you go to that file, you actually see the code that you're importing to your function or to your application. When I first had a look at this, I was like, I don't know, it looks a bit weird. And another awesome thing I like about Deno is the fact that another thing he also talks about is it has no centralized package manager, so it doesn't use npm. There's no package.json or anything like that. And I write Node pretty much every day, and I thought actually that was weird as well. But again, I had just started learning Go, and Go doesn't have like a centralized package manager. And one of the reasons why I'm not I like npm, it's pretty cool, but one of the things I'm not a huge fan of is I feel like it's not really being monitored that much, and there's a lot of dependencies on dependencies on dependencies. And coming back to this example here, you install a package and you don't know what else it's coming with, and you just import something from something. You don't know what else is being imported. But if you target a file directly using its URL, it's easier for you to have a look at that and actually see what it's doing. So I thought that was also cool as well. So why should you care? Well, if you're not a Node developer, then you generally shouldn't care. But as a Node developer, you should care. You shouldn't worry, but you should care. Node is still going to be around for a really, really long time. So when I first had a look at this Deno, my first thought was, oh, this is like a second version of Node, quote unquote. Because I get this idea that, like a while back, people were trying to find a way to run JavaScript not only on a browser, but on a server. And somehow some guy had an idea that was able to achieve that, right? But now Deno is no longer about that objective to have a runtime for JavaScript. Now that we have that information, right? If we had that information, how would we do Node better? And that's exactly how I feel about Deno. I feel like Deno is it's a second version of Node. It's Node done better, okay? And I don't think companies will be, they won't just jump on this, because as it is right now, Deno is on its first version. So there's still a lot of issues with it, and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone to use on production, but I would highly recommend that if you're a Node developer, you have a look into it and see what it's doing and how it's doing. So there was also a question of how is it similar with Node, and I'm pretty sure I just explained that. Is it the end of Node? Definitely not the end of Node. That's one of the questions that I had here from my book. And another interesting thing is it ships only as a single executable. I actually had to look that up. Not easier for me to understand it, but it kind of clicked because, like I said, I just started learning Go. It also feels like I'm bragging, talking about Go a lot. But I believe that Go also ships as a single executable. So if you run, this is a simple Go application. If you do go run main.go, it creates a single binary. So all the dependencies, come on man, let's not go. So all the dependencies that this application use are compiled into a single binary, and that is what is being shipped. And that's what Deno does as well. It ships as a single executable. Unlike Node, if we go here, unlike Node, if I do on my Node, I do npm run build. So this is Node in TypeScript. It runs TS, and the output is from this folder. So clearly this is not a single executable. It's not one file. It's a lot of files. I mean, you can obviously see it by yourself. Yeah. So that's what that is. So enough talk. Let's actually see this thing in action. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a directory, and I'm gonna call it demo. Actually, demons. CD and I'm gonna touch an app.ts, and I'm gonna do a code dodge on that. And then I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna bring this over here. So this is the file that we just created. I'm gonna paste this stuff here, okay? And then I'm gonna save this. And then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do, so let's look at what they're saying we should do here. Oh, so this is how you install it. This is the server, so Deno run. So if I do Deno run app.ts. Okay, so I'm running this for the second time. So the first time you run it, it's going to download the whole, not a whole lot of files, but it's going to download some dependencies that this application needs to run. And it catches those on your machine. And those never get updated until you run. There's an install or something, but with a flag to update them. So they always as they are until you choose to update them. Okay, so like I said, this is supposed to run on the network, but it's saying, okay, the permission is denied, network access to that. So run it with a flag of allow net. So this is what I was saying before, like it comes by default secure, and it doesn't give you access to a lot of things. Like you have to allow those things, you know what I mean? Allow net. Okay, now it's saying it's running on port 8000, so let's have a look at that. Port 8000, and then you have it hello world, which is from here. Now there's one thing I want to try, which is this bundling thing, which I think is really awesome. So what they said is, Deno, if I want to bundle this, if I do Deno, I believe it's Deno, no, it's not Deno run, it's Deno bundle app.ts, and I want to bundle it into an app.bundle.ts file. Okay, so it says it's bundle it into this. So now if I do ls, as you can see, I have another file within my within that daemon directory, which is app.bundle.ts. Okay, and then if you look at that, so this is all of Deno in a single file, and my code as well, which is just, you know, this is my code. This is the code that runs. So this is what they mean by a single executable file. So this is the file that you get to ship. This is the file that gets to go in your server. And like I said, it could either be a TypeScript file, or if you want, you could do a JavaScript file. And then they're saying you should be able to do Deno run app.bundle.js, and you get this error. So await is a resolved keyword ts. You get the same error as well. And I actually googled this and ran across it from here. So this is from Fab, this Fab, so it's quite recent. And I believe it was from this version. And I had a read of some other things and stuff here. And it basically ended up being like the version of JavaScript. So it's a known issue, and hopefully it will be fixed with TS 3.8. Deno is relatively new. Like I said, it's on its first version, so it's really, really new. There's a lot of things that need to go into it, but it's very promising and it's beautiful and I love it, and it reminds me of Go. Okay, cool. Now it's time for you to like this video if you liked it, and give me that subscribe, man, and that thumbs up and all the other things. All right, cool. I am out.